Your very own Mr. Entertainment, Mark Mulgrew on 107.8 Black Diamond FM.
And that'll be me. And if you have just tuned in, I am sitting here in the company of Simon Martinez, a young man from originally from British Honduras. Good afternoon, Simon.
Yes, Belize, formerly British Honduras.
Yeah, now known to everybody as Belize.
Yeah, now,
Simon, you are 104 years old.
February the 18th, I was 104 years old.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Can I just say it's an absolute honour to have you sitting here in the studio with us today and having a chat with us. Now, I'm going to take you back to the very start of your journey, I suppose, Simon. Back in the days, you and a number of other men came over from Honduras and came over here as part of the war effort. Can you tell us a bit about that?
We sailed from British Honduras at the time in the American warship. We were taken to New Orleans.
Yeah.
And we were stationed in New Orleans, staging area among the soldiers there.
Yeah.
We were there for about a month. And from New Orleans, we traveled by train. That was in, say, November, to New York. And from New York at the time then, we took the British ships. This was a big convoy. It took 14 days and night to cross the Atlantic.
My goodness.
The sailors said that they had to take that time because there were most submarines in the area and they had to be careful. But we landed in Glasgow on the 26th of November, 1942.
1942. It's a few years ago now, Simon.
Well, there then, we were then divided, taken to different camps. The buses were there waiting for us to take us to different camps.
Yes.
I was my camp with about 16 men were in 3 miles going into Olapool, a place named Leckmel, on the banks of the Little Loch Broom.
Up in the northwest of Scotland, yeah?
It was 3 miles going into Olapool. And there was one Gulfspey, about north of Aberdeen.
Yeah.
And then the very day we landed, right into the snow. Next day we had our breakfast, knee deep in the snow, but we went working immediately.
Can I just ask, that must have been a bit of a shock to you, seeing snow for the first time?
Well, really, but we knew about this cold weather and the snow that is in Scotland because we get the history back home during our school days. So we were more surprised, but we never bother. We keep on do the job that we come to do.
Yeah.
It has got to be done. And we were there until 42, and just on the middle of 44, the work finished. The war was about finishing then, and the camps all shut down at the time, and we were brought to Edinburgh to a hostel known as the British Honduras House.
Now, can I just ask you, Simon, how many men were brought over at that time?
About 800 men came from Belize at the time. Yeah. 800 men. Those are the men that were brought for the forestry work. Even though there were men in the army, men for the army, but the forestry workers were 800 men divided all over Scotland.
So I'm keen to ask the question that, all you young men at that time, you know, to do your part as part of the war effort, you were uprooted from your homeland and taken to a foreign land, you know, basically across the other side of the world. It must have been a bit of a culture shock to you at that time.
No, you see, we are Britishers, and we are a British Crown colony.
Yeah.
And we know the history of Great Britain.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, we weren't feared
Yeah.
because we are coming to the British, our mother country, as you know it at that time.
Yeah.
So we weren't feared or worried. If the soldiers can go and die, we will do our best, what we can do. And we weren't afraid to do so.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's a story that I think is really worth telling, because I don't think a lot of people may understand that people from the colonies, such as yourself, you know, were brought to our shores to help out with the war effort because our men here that were trained here were away fighting in Europe. You know, it's an honourable thing, you know, from yourself and many others to do your part as part of the war effort.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, I mean, my father was part of that too.
Can I just introduce you? I'm sitting here with Gilly as well, who I'll leave out the surnames, but I'm sitting here with Gilly, who has joined us and brought Simon along. Gilly, your father.
My father, yeah, he came over here at the same time, 1942, with the war effort at that time, and also just recently found out that my uncle came over too for a short time. He went back.
Uh-huh.
And again, like Simon was saying, it was British Honduras at that time, and it got us independence in 1982, which became Belize.
Yeah.
And it was always a sort of a British colony. So as Simon was saying, they were sort of used to that. They had the history books and all that sort of stuff, so they knew what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
My thing that I've always said is that I'm interested in when they actually came across here, because there was at that time, as you know, there wasn't a lot of blacks.
Yeah.
So how did the sort of whites at that time take to, like say, my father and Simon? How were they towards you?
Yeah. How did people react to you, Simon, when you came over as a man from a country that they probably never heard of?
Well, when from our camp in Olapool,
Yeah.
I'm talking about our camp in Olapool, and the following day we were going to the village or little town for a drink.
Yeah.
And entering the village, the children were all playing in the street. When they see us coming, they say, "The cold men are coming."
The Coleman.
See, it was the first time they acknowledged that they seen the black people.
Yeah.
Even when we went to the shops, the women went away into the back and the men remained to serve us. Even the men were shaken.
Yeah.
But it didn't take them long, and we all become friends.
Yeah.
I said they organize parties for us and everything. They help us with the food and whatever they can do for us, they do it as much as they can.
Now, coming towards the end of the war, as you mentioned earlier, you were then brought to Edinburgh to British Honduras House, which I think is in York Place in Edinburgh, and people obviously you took to Scotland so much, and the Scottish people took to you so much that you've decided to stay the rest of your life.
Well, even in Edinburgh, in those days, black people were very scarce in Edinburgh. I remember 3 of us were talking in front of in High Street.
Uh-huh.
And then this woman says, "Oh, they can speak English." So we turned around and said to her, "We are English spoken and we speak different languages also." So we say, "Oh, that's fine." And eventually get used to each other
Yeah.
and we become friends with many people. Life become bright and easy. We all fell in love with each other.
All fell in love and
All
got
fell in
on
love,
well.
yes, of
Now,
course.
there's yourself. You came from obviously from the Martinez family and got Cut Kelvin.
Cut Kelvin family.
Cut Kelvin family, but there other families as well you'd like to mention?
Well, Simon would know a lot of the families because I remember when I was young, Simon used to come up and visit my father quite often. Simon kept in touch with most of the Honduranian boys that was there at the time. Can you remember some of the families? Yes, that's Simon. Can you remember some of the family names that you used to go and say?
Oh, I can't remember most of them.
Yeah. Sebastian's was one, wasn't it?
The
Sebastian.
boys that all died out, you had Sebastian, you had
Twist.
Lambe,
Uh-huh.
you had Hewlett, you had Twist, Peter Smith died lately, you had Vernon, he died not very long ago also,
Was that Vernon?
Chris Vernon.
Chris Vernon, that's right, yeah. I remember him.
Then we had, as I said, Jim Christie, Twist, I mentioned Twist,
Bull.
Son Chelito.
Sam Shalito, that's the name. Sam Shalito's son, I remember years ago, Sam Shalito's son was a great entertainer here.
Right.
Sam Shalito Jr. Came from Newton Grange. Was it Newton Grange, I think this is, wasn't it? Newton Grange, the estate?
Yeah.
Shalito, yeah.
So a local lad
Yeah, it was Sam Shalito, yeah.
coming from the background. Now I'm going to play a song just now, and we're going to come back and chat about the rest of your time that you spent here in Scotland, and also we're going to be talking about the efforts that you're doing to help the youth of Belize as well.
Yeah.
And good afternoon. If you have just joined us, I'm sitting here with Mr. Martinez, Simon Martinez. I'll mention again, 104 years young, and sitting here with Gilly as well. And we were having a little chat there. You were saying, Simon, that after the war, and after the war effort had been finished, that you might have been a bit nervous about getting jobs. So
Yes,
it was a bit of a worry.
I thought, I asked myself a few questions. I said, well, shall I be able to live among the white people?
Uh-huh.
Will the white people give me digs and jobs? Those are the two principal things.
Yeah.
Well, as I said, I went to Dumfriesshire Dairy.
Yep.
Easier, I get a job easier because I was willing to work. And the manager says, and I worked with him for 2 years. Then I heard about another job in Balerno paper mill. For a penny more.
Penny more.
A penny more. I went to John Galloway in Balerno. The manager came to me, he says, what's your name? I'm Sam. And what you doing in Scotland? And where you come from? I explained myself to him. And he said, now, what you looking for? I said, I'm looking for a job. At the moment, I am working with Dumfriesshire Dairy. But I want a little bit more money. If you can give me a little bit more money, which is at least a penny more,
Yeah.
I'm willing to work for you. So he said, sure, definitely, you'll get a job. And he says, you can start Monday if you. I says, okay, I'm going to give Dumfriesshire Dairy my notice now, I said to him. And I went back. I had to go back to Dumfries anyway because I had to get my wages there and finish my week. So as soon as I entered the door, the manager came. He said, so you get a job at Balerno? I said, yes, I'll get a job, and I started on Monday. He said, well, Sam, if if you don't like the job in Valerdo, come back here. Your job is open for you. There where I started to realize that I can live
You can live here quite happily.
quite happily.
So you decided to stay, but you never ever returned. You never went back to Belize.
I went back to Belize once since.
Uh-huh.
I went back for a holiday,
Yeah.
and but since then, I see all the changes. But I come back. I never went back again, and
Did you find
I've
it
been
well?
enjoying the rest of my life up to now.
Well, this became your home, and
Yes,
and
I
this is
make myself comfortable, not miserable. I got a wife, got children,
Uh-huh.
grandchildren, great-grandchildren.
fantastic.
I'm well established now.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Well established at 104. Well done. Now, we've had a message in from Paul. Thank you very much, Paul, for getting in touch. And that's actually been very successful today, because Paul's dad came over as part of the effort from Belize. And his uncle, Ernest Phillips, you remember Ernest, don't you? Ernest Phillips?
Yes, I know Ernest Phillips very well. I know him very well because I knew him from home.
Uh-huh.
He was educated at the St. John's College back home. Ernest Phillips
Yeah.
was a very educated boy.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic. Now, what we've done is we've put Paul in touch with Gilly, and
Yeah.
we've passed all that on. Now, as you're saying there, Simon, it's great to have, you set your roots here, and you have your family, your children, your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, and Scotland is your home, and but there's still a lot of work that people like Gilly and other people are doing to help your own home folks back in Belize as well. Gilly, could you tell us a bit about that?
Well, myself and my partner, Carolyn Wellington, who Simon was a great friend of Duke, as he was known,
Uh-huh.
Wellington at the time. She actually, just after he died, 2010,
Uh-huh.
she thought she was going to put something back into Belize, for the children especially, because she has experience with working with kids and stuff. So she opened up and put together the BYSM, which is the Belize Youth Support Network.
Mhm.
I'm involved with that too as an executive and also a son. And what we're trying to do is to give the protection and well-being of the young people of Belize.
Mhm.
Because as you know, there's a lot of stuff going on there. If we can sort of help them out in any way, support, try to get into as many other charitable organisations to give them sort of the referral systems and all that sort of stuff to the kids. Because I remember I had the chance last year to go across. It was fantastic to actually go across. Carlton, who just went across there just now, he went to a place called the Liberty Foundation, who deal with abused children, young, and also abandoned children.
Uh-huh.
And they have a place over there, and the founder of that was Marcella Delea, and that was opened up in 2003. And it is a registered charity at the moment, But they opened the doors in 2006, I think
Yeah.
it was, so 2005. And they're dealing with up to 45 children per day, per week.
Uh-huh.
And they're doing great jobs. We are now trying to get in touch with them. We will be part of their sort of charitable organisations. That's what we're trying to do. Later on in the programme, I can give out the actual contacts that we can get in contact with us to do,
Yeah.
to get people in,
We'll do that.
It's just putting it back.
And it's good that I suppose from my thoughts, 900 men are taken away from their families, and brought over here as part of the effort.
Taken away. It was requested. They
Well,
chose to come.
requested, and
chose to come.
but there's still an extraction, I suppose,
Yes.
from a country, and you're taking away family members.
Yes.
Many people like Simon have decided to stay, but
And my father.
and your father as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
But to give something back again to the country in Belize, to try
Well,
and
I
help
think-
out, the
yeah.
youth network's a great idea.
It always will be a good idea. And like I say, it's a non-profit organisation Carolyn, my partner, she's got a lot of hard work into it to sort of dealing with that and to trying to get people to think about what they can do to help the children. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff you can actually do. There's Clothes for Charity, which is going to their site, which I'll give out later on, as they can get in contact with us, and you just follow the instructions. Ask for bags, fill the bags up, send it away. It gets weighed. Whatever that money then gets to put towards the charity.
Excellent. Well, we're going to play another couple of tunes, and then we're going to come back and we'll have our final wee chat, and we can talk again to Simon, and we can talk about the effort. Still sitting here with these young gentlemen, being joined by Robbie, who's going to be spinning the decks for us very shortly. If you have just joined us, good afternoon. I'm sitting here with Simon Martinez, who we just discovered. Excuse you, Robbie. Yeah, we just discovered in the break there that you're a big Hibs fan, Simon.
Yes, I've been following Hibs from 1945.
1945, following the Hibs, and I'm not going to mention about how many trophies you may have seen or may not have seen, because that's not what it's about.
And I am one of the Hibs supporters that was left at Montrose after the game, and I had to walk from Montrose to Edinburgh.
Oh, for goodness sake!
Rain, hail, or snow.
Dedication.
And I was walking along with this friend of mine, two of us. You see, after the game, we went up for a drink, and thinking that this rest of the supporters were going to come up after the game.
Yeah.
But instead, the boss went away and leave us. So he says, Sam, see, you are a black man, I'm a white man. Let's lie on the road and make a zebra crossing. It
seems that you have embraced your life over here with a sense of humour, Sam. You know, you've certainly brought a lot of joy to a lot of people over here as well.
So I said to him, listen, man, I know I'm going to die, but I ain't going to be run over by a truck. You've had some great times, haven't you, in Scotland? Oh, I enjoy a great life. As I said, I didn't think I was going to be happy among the white people, but I break the ice.
Yeah.
And believe me, I have no regret.
Fantastic.
That's nice.
That's a wonderful thing to hear from you.
I meet in fact, people meet me or meet people. If I go to a place like, if I go back to Ullapool, the last time I went to Ullapool 3 years ago, I met two old boys. They were boys when we arrived there. So they are old men now.
Yeah.
3 years ago I was there. I met them. First, I met this boy. He had a taxi, and I wanted to go to the place where the camp was.
Yeah.
He took me. He said, Sam, I'll take you. He took me 3 miles down. He didn't charge me. He said, I'm not going to charge you, Sam. You were here during the war to help us. You are welcome. So then I was walking along the road I met two of the old boys. So I remember the time when they were boys, when they shouted, the cold men are coming. We had a great laugh with them.
Yep.
And believe me, I enjoyed the time, my holiday there with them.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
They give me a free meal. They give me a free drink.
Wonderful.
And I was welcome because You see, I try to get people on my side. As I said, I didn't want to be cold-feeted, and I enjoy everybody's happiness with everybody. So all them that shouted, the cold men are coming, they were all pleased to see me once more after a hell of a long time since the war.
Yeah.
That was my first.
Can I just say that fantastic. I'm going to get Gilly to explain a bit more about the support network. Simon, fantastic memories that you've got, but a fantastic story as well. And thank you very much for taking your time to come in here and explain that to the people of Midlothian. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. Gilly, can you tell me a bit more about how people can help with the support network?
Well, people can get onto our network with www.BelizeYouthSupport.org.uk, which is BelizeYouthSupport.org.uk, or you can have info@bysn.org.uk. We're on the Facebook also, which is Belize Youth Network. Get in contact with us, and like I said, we're a non-profit organisation. It's a small place, but Carolyn Wellington and myself and that are trying to build it up and get as much network as we possibly can with other charities.
Now, we have recorded this as well, so we're going to be sending this out, and we'll stick onto the websites and stuff as well. I'll also put it on YouTube so that people can hear, and we'll tag it as Belize Support Network as well, so that hopefully people, and if you're listening to this back, that you can get in touch and find out, who's all connected and find out all the history.
Yeah, and there's lots of Belizeans in the UK as well, and it's nice to sort of keep everybody tight. Know where you're from. That's the main thing. Is know where you're from and be strong as Belizeans.
And keep the history alive.
Keep the history alive, especially with kids and their grandkids, and to let them know where we're from. For sure.
Again, thank you very much, Simon, for coming and explaining a story that I never knew. That so many Belizeans came over here to help during the war.
Yeah.
And my cap. I'm tipping my cap to you. And you decided to stay, and you've gave lots of people over here, and your family and your friends. You've given lots of people great stories and great memories over the years.
Oh man, I can't complain. I'm quite happy, contented, enjoyed my life up to now. Not bad at all.
Still got years in you yet.
I remember when I used to travel to these small villages. I went to abroad one time with the old folks.
Yeah.
And we went into the bar. So conversation was going on. So I went to the barkeeper and we were telling him a story. And after the story, I said to him, now you have it in black and white. And the whole pub went up, man. The whiskey was coming.
Yeah.
Free whiskey.
Everybody. Sam, here is a drink. I just couldn't drink any because of that one. You have it in black and white.
Excellent stuff. Thank you, Simon, very much for coming in, and yourself, Gilly.
It's been a pleasure, Mark. As always, it's been a pleasure.
Yes, always good to see you, and a fantastic story. Going to put on a wee bit of Katrina and the Waves.